Next, I would like to invite Professor Marias Gavunelli, Professor of the Law School of Athens, President of the National Commission for Human Rights, Director General of the Hellenic Foundation for European and Foreign Policy. Professor Gavunelli, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this most kind invitation. Είναι πραγματικά ιδιαίτερη χαρά για μένα να βλέπω αυτή την αίθουσα γεμάτη με φίλες, με συνεργάτιδες, με συνοδοιπόρους, με τις φοιτητριές μου που γίνονται καινούργιες συνάδελφοι σιγά σιγά και να είμαστε όλοι εδώ για να συζητήσουμε σήμερα για τις προοπτικές των γυναικών, για τον τρόπο με τον οποίο ενσωματώνεται αυτή η απίθανη γυναικεία δύναμη στην καθημερινή ζωή. Θα ήθελα να μοιραστώ μαζί σας ένα σύντομο βιντεάκι. Δεν ξέρω αν είμαστε έτοιμοι να το δούμε.
Σκέφτομαι να θέσω υποψηφιότητα στις εκλογές. Έχω αγάπη για τον τόπο μου και ιδέες για να αντιμετωπίσουμε τα προβλήματα. Έχω κατάλληλες σπουδές και όρεξη για δουλειά. Αλλά έχω ένα μειονέκτημα στα μάτια κάποιων.
Είμαι γυναίκα. Και αυτό από μόνο του σημαίνει ότι ανεξάρτητα από τις ικανότητές μου, τώρα έχω 60% λιγότερες πιθανότητες να με ψηφίσετε.
That was something that we have done a few months ago, going up to the national elections. And we're going to repeat that on the way up to the European elections. The outcome of our previous campaign was an increase of 5% in women's representation. I wouldn't consider that revolutionary. I would consider that a first step. And I'm looking forward to more, plenty more. The reason, however, that I have chosen this particular little film to start our discussion today is simply because I would like to stand on the second pillar of what is the National Action Plan for Women, Peace and Security. And that second pillar has to do with empowerment. When we're talking about women, we're always talking, or almost always talking, about women as victims. Victims of violence in war, victims of violence at home, victims of discrimination at work. And all that is absolutely true. Just yesterday, the Special Rapporteur in the UN presented actually a frightening report on gender-based violence in Gaza, and I'm sure this is not the only one happening around the world today. I do like, however, to make sure that we're not concentrating on women as victims only. We do not think of women as something that is less and therefore needs more protection. I would like to concentrate on all these positive factors that need to be there in place to empower women so that they become less of a victim, so that they may actually participate in the decision-making process everywhere, across the board. We would certainly need to be having more and more women in positions of power. And with the greatest of regard for the Minister, I'm very, very pleased to see the Ministry of Foreign Affairs having actually an almost female leadership. And I'm particularly pleased also to see more and more women in positions where they may influence the decision-making process, where they may come up with ideas and suggestions, and not only dealing with implementation. The traditional pyramid that we see is always plenty of women down the line, and as we go up, fewer and fewer women manage to reach the peak. We see that at the universities, we see that at research institutions, we see that at think tanks. Perhaps you do have an exception in front of you, but there you are. It is an exception, and we need to have plenty more. The reason I'm concentrating on that is simply because we need to understand women as agents for change. We need to start thinking along different lines. From very small, tiny things. Have you noticed when women are speaking in public that they always have to sit further up without something that would actually allow them to wear a dress? Tiny little things like that, but they do have an impact. That shows that nobody had actually paid attention to the details, the small print. That's the kind of thing that we need to stop working, to start working more and more for. We need to concentrate on what I call generally human security rather than women's security. Yes, we need to prevent, we need to protect, we need to redress, absolutely, and more. But if we have empowered women, if we have women that participate in gender-based policies, women that are able to influence the way we conduct business around the world, then we would actually need less of these preventive, protective, and redress measures. My message to the younger generation, and that includes boys and girls, that includes men and women, would actually be a sort of a gender neutral kind of outlook, but in a positive way, accentuating the advantages of both sides so as to come up with a better understanding of how our societies work. And that really means that nobody is left behind. And that really means that we are all there in an all-inclusive world, working together for the future. Thank you so much.